So, we all know that cars have gotten real high-tech, but is high-tech becoming a burden on car makers? Many automotive companies, are struggling to keep up with the latest advancements in technology. Issues such as glitches, crashing displays, and imperfect voice recognition are among some of the problems encountered. Joining us right now is FoxNews.com Automotive Editor Gary Gastelu. Gary, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. So, tell us the issue. I mean, your thoughts on how car companies are implementing all the new technology available to us right now.
Yeah, this has been killing them in Consumer Reports reviews and the J.D. Power surveys. The car companies kind of got ahead of themselves. They saw the iPhone, they saw the flat screens, they said, wow, we got to get this into our cars. And they sort of rushed into it, and the systems just weren't up to snuff. You know, the interface doesn't always work. Sometimes you need knobs and buttons. They got rid of those at first. They're bringing them back now. The systems were too slow. When you're driving 70 miles an hour down the highway, you need something that's going to react quickly. If it doesn't, that's going to drive you absolutely insane behind the wheel. And even if ultimately the car itself works well, if the one thing you use the most is annoying you, you're not going to like that car. You're going to have complaints.
And then you're just not going to use it, by the way, right? So in the latest Car Consumer Report, Lexus topped the list once again. Average reliability score of 86 out of 100 among their 9 models. Is Lexus one that's doing well with this? Toyota held on to the second spot, and Buick moved up to be the 3rd most reliable brand on the market. This is a good list. I think people are going to get some value out of this list. So what do you make of Buick jumping up a spot from last year?
You know, their system's pretty simple, and it's actually one of the better ones, the latest version of it at least. You know, again, these surveys take the whole car into account. It's not just the electronic interface. But I think Buick's done a better job than some without getting rid of all the knobs and the buttons that drive people crazy the most. You know, when you're confronted with that touch screen and you have to control the volume by sliding your finger up and down it, it's very annoying. No, it's not. In fact, Honda just recently unveiled its new CR-V, best-selling car in America right now behind the pickup trucks. And the first thing everybody noticed about it was that its flat screen display, which is not something that people have been enjoying lately, has a volume knob. All the changes on this car, most people, myself and other critics, noticed that it has a volume knob. They're bringing that back because they know consumers want it.
So one car that actually fell off in reliability, it's no longer being recommended by the Consumer Report, was the Honda Civic. What happened here? This is just one of 11 cars that actually are no longer being recommended. That
was a big part of it.
Yeah.
It has this new fully touchscreen interface. It has this volume slider. You have to slide your finger up and down the screen. I mean, even the iPhone has buttons for the volume on the side. I think you just have to look at that and realize, hey, you know what, maybe the car should have buttons. Now, again, a lot of these cars, they have buttons on the steering wheel for volume and changing the channels, but for some reason, people just don't get attracted to that. And when you first get in the car, you're not thinking that way. You're thinking, this should work over here. I don't want to have to use these buttons over here. Over time, I'm sure you'll learn to use them. But again, they're just kind of learning this interface. But the problem is that the car companies have these long product cycles. My Ford Touch, one of the biggest problems ever in the car industry. It launched in 2011. They didn't get around to replacing it with Sync 3, the new system, which is a little bit better, until last year. And even then, they have to wait for the cars to get replaced before they can put it in the new car. They can't just put it in a car that exists. They have to wait for an update for that car.
Just because you have high tech on your dashboard doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
You know, we were talking earlier during the break. I have a microwave that's touch tone, and I think it's so annoying. I'd much rather just have the buttons, and I can understand that gets so much harder when you're actually driving.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said before, I mean, you don't have a steering wheel on an iPhone. You know, maybe a touch screen in a car isn't the only way to do it. You need these other controls. You know, when you're driving along, you want to grab for something. You need a place to put your finger before you push it in. Even Tesla, which has this big, giant screen, which is one of the better interfaces because it has big icons.
Yeah,
and when your finger's like that, you can sort of hit it. But even there, you don't have anywhere to, like, put your hand to steady it. And a lot of times you miss the buttons that you're trying to press. They're figuring this out. It's just too slow. I mean, again, 2011 was when my Ford Touch came out. I think the iPad came out in 2010. And what have we had? A dozen new iPads since then?
Yeah.
The car companies just need to figure out how to do this quicker. One thing they've done that's very smart, most of them, just about all of them, have moved over and have integrated this new Apple CarPlay and Android Auto systems, which basically mirror your phone on the display. It's a very simple interface. It works pretty well. They need to move more in that direction.
Simple
I think they're trying to do it themselves.
better when you're driving.
Absolutely.
Bottom line. Gary, good stuff. Thank you so much. We'll go to FoxBusiness.com for more on that.